it's a fear of being left out. It's a fear of not having fun anymore. It's a fear of being part of the outside crowd, the not so cool crowd, right? I think the older you get, the less that is. But this is all set up, as I said, by big alcohol. A big part of the bullshit of this, at the start of this journey is always going to be the fear. It's the biggest con that is handed to us by not only the alcohol industry, but the quit alcohol industry as well. It's handed to us by our friends, by our families, not directly. It's one of those things that, we'll get, there's nothing wrong with the couple, there's nothing wrong with moderation, there's nothing wrong with this, there's nothing wrong with that. And it puts a fear in you before you stop drinking, when you're trying to decide whether you want to stop drinking alcohol. It puts a fear in you after you've stopped the flow and you're trying to unplug from this thing, right? It's just one of those things that it's a fear of being left out. It's a fear of not having fun anymore. It's a fear of being part of the outside crowd, the not so cool crowd, right? I think the older you get, the less that is. But this is all set up, as I said, by big alcohol. They set it up in all their advertisements. Fear of being a loser, fear of being a teetotaling dork. Fear of how am I going to relax anymore without alcohol? A big part of my social life was going to pubs. So how was I going to do that? I just couldn't imagine my life not being able to go out for that Saturday night, the Friday night. Not being able to go in when I was feeling a bit crappy during the week and going in for a couple of pints. That was a big fear for me, what I was going to do there. I think coming home and putting my feet up, it was a less fear. Not having the alcohol there when I was trying to relax and stuff like that, because I didn't do it every night, but it was still a fear. What happens if I felt like it? What happens if I felt like a glass of wine at my dinner? What happens if I felt this or that? And it's things that, because we've got that conflict inside of us, because there is that ambiguity in the beginning, there's part of you wants to go through with it, part of you doesn't want to go through with it. And you will always, the habit will always try and feed into the part that keeps you going on the default behavior, right? It is what it is. Take care. Onwards and upwards.